To help you go home earlier, we're breaking down 3 systems that you can use to save hours on admin every month and actually leave work at work. So your time is your money. Let's get into it. The first system practitioners can put into place to help them go home earlier is a client follow-up and rebooking workflow. So what do we mean by this and how will it help?
Yes. Hi, absolutely. I'm super excited to talk about this. Everybody loves ideas on how to get home earlier and feel better about it. So following up with your clients is one of those things that I think we all know is important. We don't have to kind of explain why. It's mutually beneficial, right? It's good for your clients. It keeps them consistent with their treatments. And then also to you, it keeps you kind of top of mind, helps them get better results, which makes you look better. And, essentially is what, keeps your business running. So it's one of the easiest things to put off at the same time, right? Because it usually comes at the end of the day. It takes time, it takes focus, it takes going back to each client and understanding when was the last time they came in and, what was their particular sort of scheduling situation. So it's something that kind of takes time and energy, and it often pops up at a time where we might be kind of lower on the scale of having that. And like I said, by the nature of our work or your work, it's something that's very repetitive, right? Because we have to book all of our appointments.
So when practitioners don't have a system in place for their follow-ups or their rebookings, what's the biggest issue you notice? In other words, how does it affect their day-to-day?
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of practitioners are kind of manually tracking the whole thing, right? So who needs to rebook, when, who needs to reach out and when, how much time, should we kind of allow to go by before following up and reaching out? And it's sort of everything becomes a decision, right? All those things become like these little micro decisions that sort of I like to kind of make an analogy with this. It sort of becomes like compound interest, right? All these little decisions start to take up a lot of time. So should I reach out? Is it too soon? Who's going to reach out? What am I going to say exactly? It becomes exhausting, right? Because it does sort of compound. And it actually, costs you time, which is revenue. So what I suggest that you do is put it on autopilot using a tool like ClinicSense. So I'm going to talk about some of the features. Automated booking reminders are great. Right. So you can set up in ClinicSense campaigns that remind clients when it's time to rebook, and you can set it up to be what you want it to be. So if you like to follow up with clients after 4 to 6 weeks, you set it up to function that way. The goal here is to set up your system to support your process, right? It's not that your process has to change or be less personalized or be anything that it's not in order to use the tool. The tool supports you, not vice versa. So automated rebooking reminders. The smart waitlist feature is another great one. So you can invite someone to be on the waitlist. You can put someone on the waitlist, and it actually gives you a trigger to select who can take the cancellation spot if you wanted to. If you don't want to be bothered, you can just have people sort of funneling in automatically. And so again, you can use the customization to make the system support you and kind of do it for you, essentially, right? This is like having the system do the decision for you. You make it once, you set it up in your settings, and then it's on autopilot. The post-appointment follow-up, that's another thing that you can customize. There's some, options there in the settings that you can have made, working exactly the way that you would like it to work. But again, it's a trigger and it's an automatic follow-up. I would suggest, and again, this is personal to your practice, but I would suggest something like 24 to 48 hours. You can have a follow-up that just asks, hey, how are you feeling 2 days after your appointment, for example. So this builds trust. It helps, gives your client a nice feeling that you care, as you do, about how they're doing after the appointment. And it also gives you a natural rebooking opportunity. The next thing that I would suggest is you can use ClinicSense to fill your scheduling gaps. So ClinicSense can actually identify when you have breaks in your schedule or gaps that have become newly available recently, and send sort of a we miss you or a win back campaign to those who have not been to see you in a defined amount of time. So you can kind of use it in all those different ways to keep your schedule full while you're not doing the actual manual follow-up.
And how much time does this actually save?
If you have 20 clients a week and half need follow-up, so that's say 10 manual tasks weekly, if that takes you 5 minutes each, that's almost an hour a week, 50 minutes a week. That's 4 hours per month. So as you can see, and we're talking about one task here, as you can see, it really builds upon each other. So this could potentially save 4 hours a month just doing this. So with the automation, you can take those hours back and your schedule will stay fuller, because this is one of those things. I feel like when I'm chatting with clients a lot and we're talking about initially, automation and things like that, there's a concern that things will be less personal. Things won't feel like you. This is one of those things where, really your system might even do a better job than you, right? Because it's counting the days and it's tracking everything. So with this, you can sort of see the math pretty clearly that you are going to end up saving time, and it is going to sort of hand you back, a number of hours every week, every month.
Awesome. So this takes a bit of understanding and getting used to your systems. So what if someone's ClinicSense isn't set up properly or this way?
So if it's not set up the way that you want it to be, or if it's not set up this way, if it's not set up to kind of take advantage of all these features that I just mentioned that are available to you, I'm going to link step-by-step guides and how-to videos from the support team below in the comments to show you these features, and you can see exactly how they work in some more detail. I have an offer called a ClinicSense Cleanup VIP Day. So basically, we audit your current setup. We build these features into it and just make everything sort of run on autopilot where it can and should. And most people find that they aren't actually using all of the features that they could. A lot of people are using some, but a lot of people are not using all of the features that they could, have working together to potentially save them time. So a VIP day will fix that, and it'll do it quickly. So you'll have, everything set up and be able to reap the benefits right away.
Thanks so much, Jen. This is so helpful. For anyone in the community, Jen is in the group. You can reach out to her directly for any help or assistance. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, you're welcome. I love talking about this stuff, so I'm happy to do it.
Yay! See you soon.
Bye-bye.